Head coach of the Nepalese football team, Abdullah Al-Mutairi, has announced the team for the 2 international friendly matches against African nation Mauritius. Including all 34 players of the close camp, coach Al-Mutairi has announced 2 separate squads for the 2 matches and has taken the fixtures as an opportunity to field young players. Good morning, I'm Abhidesh Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Central Bureau of Statistics makes public its preliminary report of the census. Population of Nepal reaches 29,192,480. Candidates of the ruling coalition win 18 of the 19 National Assembly seats. Opposition CPN-UML had to satisfy with a single win. The U.S. rejects Russia's demand to bar Ukraine from NATO amid warnings Russia might invade its neighbor. And Egypt defeat Ivory Coast in penalty shootout to storm into the quarterfinals of the African Cup of Nations. Equatorial Guinea also reached the last 8, shocking Mali in penalties. The population of Nepal has reached 29,192,480. Organizing a press conference yesterday, the Central Bureau of Statistics made public its preliminary report of the census. Based on the preliminary study, the population of women is more than that of men by 790,000. The female population stands at 14.9 million, while the male population figure is 14.291 million. Likewise, the population of Nepalese abroad stands at 2,169,478. The population of Nepal stood at 26.4 million in the previous census, while the population growth rate in the past decade has stood at 0.93%. According to the Central Bureau of Statistics, the population density stands at 198 people per square kilometer. And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. And here's the question: what could be the reason for the decline in population growth rate? Your options are A, socioeconomic burden, B, inclination towards nuclear family, and C, emigration of youth. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The ruling coalition won 18 of the 19 seats in the election of the National Assembly yesterday, while the main opposition CPN-UML won 1 seat. Except for the victory of Sonam Geljen Sherpa in Province 1, candidates of the ruling parties won in all the other places. Sherpa received 4,752 votes, while Hemraj Rai of Janata Samajwadi Party received 4,386 votes. Gopal Basnet of Nepali Congress and Garu Baral of CPN-UML received equal votes of 4,088 in the open category. Nepali Congress was then decided the winner through a lucky draw held as provisioned by the Act related to the National Assembly. Jayanti Rai of Unified Samajwadi was elected in the women's category with 4,692 votes. In Madhes Province, Urmila Aryal of CPN Maoist Center was elected in the women's category, and Muhammad Khalid of Janata Samajwadi Party was elected in the open category. Likewise, in Bagmati, Krishna Prasad Paudel of Nepali Congress was elected in the open category, while Goma Devi Timilsina was elected in the women's category. Candidates of the ruling coalition won in Gandaki, Lumbini, Karnali, and Sudur Paschim provinces as well. Of the total 2,025 voters, 2,007 had cast their ballots in the election. With persisting uncertainty regarding the local level elections by mid-May, distance between the government and the Election Commission is widening. Meanwhile, the Apex Election Authority, which has been urging for setting the election dates at the earliest, appears discontent. More in this report.
The Election Commission had held discussions with Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba on the 25th of October. The Commission, in another meeting, had proposed dates for the election. During the meeting, Prime Minister Deuba had said that he would proceed on the basis of consultations with other parties. The Apex election body had also held discussions with political parties. The government's indifference then led the Election Commission to issue a notice on Tuesday regarding the polls. The term of local levels is expiring by mid-May. Despite the contrasting provisions in the Constitution and the Act, the Election Commission seems driven to hold the polls. However, the government does not appear in favour of holding the polls anytime soon and is making arrangements for amendment of the laws to push the election. At a time when the government and the Election Commission should have collaborated to avoid a situation where the local levels would be left without elected public representatives, there is an evident widening gap between the two entities.
In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the locals in various provinces regarding their opinion on the controversies surrounding the tenure of the local level representatives. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
वैशाखमा गर्दा प्रतिकूल हुन्छ भन्ने निष्कर्षका साथ यसलाई सार्न खोजिएको छ यो राम्रो चाहिँ होइन
तीनै तहको निर्वाचन एकैचोटी भयो भने देशलाई पनि ठूलो भार नपर्ने 5 वर्षको कार्यकाल सबै जनप्रतिनिधिले पाउनु पर्यो
अनावश्यक विवाद हो
The alarming resurgence of coronavirus cases saw some drop yesterday, with 5,571 new cases confirmed through RT-PCR tests. With 5 more fatalities, the COVID-19 death toll now stands at 11,672. Another 2,883 cases were confirmed from antigen tests. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the active coronavirus cases have now reached 90,067. A total of 4,433 individuals recovered from COVID-19 yesterday. With almost 90,000 infected at home isolation, 1,819 patients are at institutional isolation. 251 patients are currently undergoing treatment at intensive care units, while 48 are on ventilator support. Armed Police Force Club stunned Martyrs Memorial A-Division League leaders Machindra Club 3-1 to progress to the grand finale of the Aharara Gold Cup for the first time in 14 years. APF first scored in the 25th minute through Sunny Shrestha, but Omolaja equalized for Machindra 15 minutes later. Nabil Lama then scored a brace in the second half for the departmental team to stun the league leaders. APF will now play the winners of the match between Manang Marshangdi Club and Tribhuvan Army Football Club. Head coach of the Nepalese football team, Abdullah Al-Mutairi, has announced the team for the 2 international friendlies against African nation Mauritius. Including all 34 players of the closed camp, head coach Al-Mutairi has announced 2 separate squads for the 2 matches. Al-Mutairi had initially called 37 players for the closed camp. Ayush Galan, Dinesh Hemjan and Kamal Thapa had quit the camp because of injuries. Team Nepal are playing Mauritius on Saturday in the first of the 2 matches. Jagjit Shrestha is making a comeback in the national team for the first time in 4 years. Shrestha, who was in Australia, is currently in Nepal for the A-Division League. Head coach Al-Mutairi had picked Shrestha following his impressive displays for Tribhuvan Army Club in the domestic top flight. Meanwhile, Bimal Ghartimagar, who was out of football for 2 years because of an injury, is also making a comeback to the national team. Head coach Al-Mutairi has taken the 2 international friendlies as an opportunity to field young players. A total of 5,000 spectators will be allowed in the international friendlies slated for Saturday and Tuesday at the Dasrath Stadium in Tripureshwar. Both the matches are scheduled for 4:45 p.m. kickoff. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.